Oh my goodness, look at
Turns out
that.
you're
The man, the
bad
myth,
feelings
the
in a good
legend,
feeling.
Ginger Bill.
It's a night.
Oh my
Odin,
goodness.
how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
let
thought
me.
there was a dress code, so I just came appropriate. So
You
yeah.
look really good. I must say that
Thank you.
I can tell right away that you clearly are very talented, eloquent. You obviously know
thank you
today's
very
modern
much.
modern
Yes,
fashions.
very, very modern. These headphones aren't even plugged in. That's how much I am enjoying them.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. You got to live the life. It's not about just doing it here and there. It's about living the life.
Of course, you got to take it to the stream. You got to be prime level. That's what you got to do. Yeah. You know, I'm going to take these off because I can't hear a thing properly.
Okay, that's fine. So, you are the creator of Odinlang? The creator?
That is correct. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. So let's start like maybe a little bit more origin story here. What inspired you to kind of create something different? There's a lot of options out there, right? Nim's even, catching some steam. Zig, everyone's loving Zig. Why create something different as opposed to investing in what is?
So to give you the short story, I started it nearly 7 years ago, Odin, and at the time there were no options.
Oh.
So what I mean by that is I am primarily a C and C++ developer. That's
Okay.
what my background is anyway. I've done many other things as well. I've done Python. I've done, MATLAB as well. I've done many things throughout my career in different languages. And of the year 2016, I'm going to give the short story of it rather than the long story. But let's say I got so fed up with C++, so one day, effectively, I just went, look, I can do a better job myself. But before I even did that, I went, look, are there any other languages out there that I wanted? I wanted a statically typed compiled language that had manual memory management.
Okay, I like all those things.
Yeah, which was substantially better than C and C++. Unfortunately, that rules out Rust, by the way. So Rust was out there at the time, but Rust is not actually manual memory managed by default. It still has automatic memory management everywhere.
Okay, can you dive into that a little bit and what you mean by Rust doesn't have it? Because I think most people would consider it in some sense manual memory management. Even though you're right, it's like
in many sense, but there are places where they will automatically allocate memory for you. But when I say completely manual, I want custom allocators, custom support of things everywhere by default. I don't even want the allocator allocating things in behind me just because it needs to have a lifetime's work or anything like that, or the copy constructors or anything of that nature. I know that's not what they call them in Rust, but in that sense.
Okay, yeah, we call them copy traits, implementers of the copy trait.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Yes, all those type classes. Yeah.
So if you were to redo Odin today, do you think you would have fallen into the Zig area and just tried to improve that, or do you think Odinlang is still the right choice to this day?
I'd still say it's the right choice to this day. So I know Andrew Kelly quite well. I'm friends with him. I've known him for a few years now. And the Zig language, we've spoken to a lot, but we've got completely different philosophies. And I think that's kind of the different things. Is like they are very different languages, very different feeling like. And I always recommend people always try out what you can. If you've got an opportunity to try different languages, try as many as you can, because you'll be surprised what you actually like and what you don't like.
Yeah,
you may like Zig, you might like Odin, you might not like any of them. You may want to use Rust, and that's great. And those are the kind of things that you have to try out. So yeah, I think we differ. They are very different languages, and people who've tried both, they'll go, yeah, they feel very, very different as well.
Okay. I really like that kind of approach to life, because I've seen a few people over the course of my career where they've done just one language their entire time, and it's not bad to be specialized. Like, I think that's a very good thing, but they have no other perspective. And so I think there's something about that that's kind of, tricksy. I think even I fell into that trap, right? At one point, I thought Java was the best language. Why would you write anything but Java?
Yeah.
And then I wrote JavaScript, and I thought, why would you write anything but Java? And then eventually I wrote something else, and I thought, oh, wow, this is actually really exciting. And so it's kind of always seemed like the more I got exposed, the more I realized how much differently you can write software, or really how much differently you can think about a problem by just seeing difference in how you can express it. And so that's really powerful to me.
Yeah, indeed. And I think for me, to many ways, I think language is just tools. Like, it is a tool to get the job done, the problems I'm trying to solve at the end of the day. And I do want the best tools I can get as well for that job. I don't really care what that tool is. If it's the best for the job, I'm going to be using it. Okay. So and that's kind of thing for me. But it was like, for me, I knew I could make better tools for myself, so I just made them.
So I have a quick question. I have a quick question to that, because I hear this phrase all the time, and you don't fall into my typical category of someone saying that phrase. Use the best tool for the job. What?
Yeah, I know, it's a bit cliche.
It is super cliche, and usually what it means is I'm going to use JavaScript. So how do you determine what is the best tool for the job? What is like your criteria for determining that?
There's a lot of different criteria for stuff. It's, for instance, if the problem has already been trodden before, like, okay, see what's already done and see use that thing. So if my background's actually in physics, I'm a physicist by profession.
Oh.
So I would have, if I was doing something complicated, like, okay, I need to do some statistical stuff, like, okay, I know these tools, okay, let's say go to use Python, use NumPy and SciTools, do that. Or if I had to use MATLAB because it was like they told me to use it, I'd do that. Or if we had a big set of libraries we had to use that language. Or if I know I'm having to do low-level stuff at the time, I would have just used C because I know I have to write onto an embedded machine. Like, there were different tools, or sometimes just write assembly because I needed to actually get every single thing, and I couldn't rely on the C compiler that was provided for me for that embedded machine. So
Okay.
the best tools, I know it's a cliche thing to say, but it's very much like, the reason why I say it is like, yeah, but you need to know your alternatives. You need to know your options. Like, don't just say, oh, the best thing is, like, you say JavaScript in your sense, but it's like, do you know what the alternatives are? And if you don't know the alternatives, you can't really say it's the best tool.
Yeah.
You can't do those comparisons.
I like that. I like that a lot because it requires you to have a broader perspective, which means that I think a lot of times what we mean when we say the best tool for the job is we mean the best tool given our time constraints and our knowledge. And so often that just means I'm going to go default to using the tool that I'm most familiar with because I know I can solve the problem in it. Not necessarily that I can solve it well, or even if I know that there's a better way to solve it. I just know I can. And so I always, you know, it trips me up a little bit because, you know, I often will fall into this trap. Like recently, just at Netflix, I work at Netflix, by the way, obligatory. I work at Netflix. When I was there, I've been creating this project, and as of this last couple weeks, there's more and more people asking for service so they can integrate their tools. They want to be able to call out into an endpoint.
Yeah.
I was having 16 gigabyte instances, not even being able to handle 5 concurrent requests because of how much memory JavaScript uses and the amount of information that I was going through. So I was very curious. So I just went and grabbed Rust, built something that grabbed all the same memory and did effectively the same thing. It was less than 1/10 the memory. And I realized, okay, so the failure here isn't that I did the right thing. It's that I chose the wrong tool at the beginning. I solved the right problem with the wrong tool. And now I'm having to create this, for effective purposes, a bastardized version of the program where I actually check to see if a binary is in the path and call into that and have it solve it for me in a lower memory sense, and then still have my node service that's that interacts with the Netflix ecosystem in a very simple way. And so I'm like trying to cheat my way through the system for this exact reason, which is, you know, it's just a reminder for how important it is to choose the right thing because you don't know how far these things are going to go. And even if you do choose the right thing in the moment, it may not be the right thing forever.
No. And sometimes a quick bodge or a hack, whatever you want to call it, is sometimes better just understand, like, get it out there. Like, I don't know sometimes the solution. I just have to do it.
Yeah.
So I just use the tools, the languages I'm most proficient with. At the moment, it's now Odin. I'm just literally defaulting Odin most of the time. But I used to go to either sometimes Python. I used to go to C++, C. Literally, I'd be using any language, like whatever thing is like, oh, I'm going to do this. Just touch it here. I didn't really care. It was just very much I knew I got this done. I can get it done in this. Do it. But it's kind of gotten to that point where, I don't know, maybe I'm just probably very laid back as a bloke in this case, but use what tool's best for you as well, because I don't, when people say, oh, like, Rust is the best language in the world, or no, it's NIM, or is it JavaScript or whatever, I'm like, is it good for you? Great. Go ahead, do whatever.
Yeah.
As long as it's good enough for you, your problem solving, and if you're doing it commercially, good for your customers.
Yeah.
Don't forget them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's kind of focus on Odinlang, because you said you're building pretty much everything in Odinlang. Is Odinlang a general purpose programming language?
That is correct. Yes, it's a general purpose programming language. It would be, I would class it as an alternative to C, on the emphasis on like the joy of programming compared to just having to pull your hair out whatever little we got left.
Yeah.
For when you're doing C.
I can see that you've done a lot of C in your life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bad C.
Yeah. This is what a head of hair looks like when you do Java. You know, you just get a little bit more hair in the end.
I know. I tried to do the C++, but it just remained the same.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It just doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
You might have a parent constructor problem though. Like if we're being real here.
Maybe.
So you did give me some like examples of Odinlang. I'd like to look at a couple things that make it easy. I right away see dynamic arrays and strings, because those two things in C, well, they're not fun. Well, really, any data structure is not
No.
fun in C. You have to hand roll everything yourself. So I'd love to look at some of these. So I see a bunch of different ones. What is like a good one I can jump into to kind of see some basic things?
The best one out on there is actually not in that demos list, unfortunately. It was the one I gave you was the demo.odin file. That pretty much just shows you just Odin. There's the overview, which is fine, but the demo.odin file, which one of that, wherever it was.
Okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. This one right here.
There we go. It's this big beast, but it has literally pretty much everything. You can learn a lot from that just by reading it. Top down, it's a very simple language.
Okay.
Yep, the package thing is like similar to Go, but it's influenced from like the modular family in that sense.
Okay, and so since this one's package
from.
main, I assume that your program assumes there's a main function in this file, correct?
At least there's a main function, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
C like, has
core
an
is,
entry point. You have to have an entry point.
Yep. Core is your standard library?
Correct. Yeah, we call it the core library because we're trying to stay away from STDs as much as I possibly can.
You know, that's a good
So
move.
yeah.
Okay, so what's going on here? What is this?
So we're just showing the basics, general syntax, the declarations and such like this, because Odin's declaration syntax is quite foreign to most people.
Yeah,
but it's quite simple. It is name, colon, type, and then if it's constant, it's another colon, and then the expression itself. So it's just name, type, expression.
Okay.
Compared to say like Rust has got like a declaration at the front, like it's func. Like in Go, it says func, or what is it? Fun if you're in Rust. So in that sense, they have the specify what type of declaration is, then the name, then the expression. Odin just says, nope, just put the name at the beginning and then separate it with the colons. That's the thing. So it's a little bit weird, but it's a very kind of elegant design with how it actually works with the declaration syntax.
Okay,
you get used to it very quickly.
It's the basics. 2 colons means it's static, did you say?
This is a constant declaration.
Okay,
yes.
constant. And then it's constant because it's a function. And there's no return to this function, I assume.
Correct, yes. It's no returns, yes.
Okay, cool. And obviously your
Very
standard
simple,
hello world right there. Why hello?
Yeah. Hello. It's always what I've been using instead of hello. It goes back from, I just remember hearing this woman kept saying hello all the time, and I just couldn't stop laughing, so I've just kept it.
Okay, that's great.
That was literally, it goes back a day. It's random. It's just for me. It's idiosyncratic.
Okay. Obviously you have these, is this like a scope block? Is that what we're looking at here?
It's just a scope block. It's very C-like in that regards. We're not trying to be very radical in this case in design.
Okay, so you've declared it int. It may or may not be.
Yeah.
It's not initialized
It's
yet to anything.
initialized always to 0 in Odin. The default initialization is to 0.
Okay.
Unlike in C, where everything could be just random value.
Honestly, I cannot tell you how many. I mean, just 4 weeks ago, I had to fix a bug in one of my little Netflix pieces of hardware because I was passing back a value, an integer that I forgot I didn't initialize, and I just never said it. They passed it into me. I never said it, and just like that was it. And of course, that means my video frame size was just like some astronomical figure, and I kept getting all these overflows or underflows, and I was just like, what's happening? How am I ruining this right now? And I couldn't figure it out. And of course, it's because I forgot to initialize the variable.
There's loads of stuff like in Odin. We've tried to fix the problems that people had in C and just go one by one. Okay, what's this problem? Okay, fix that one. What's this one? Okay, do this one. Because there's loads and loads of issues in C.
Yeah.
And we've pretty much just got rid of all of them.
Okay,
That's
nice.
pretty much it, as much as you can.
Strings,
we've got a string type because why would you want to do no terminated pointers? Like, that's just. I understand back in the 70s when memory was concerned, and like, storing an extra length is actually difficult. But,
yes. When bytes were the level of concern. Right now, we're more in the gigabytes are the level of concern. So I feel like we got some wiggle room.
I have 24 gigabytes of VRAM on my graphics card. It's a very different land we're in now. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Unicode. You can do standard.
Yes.
What is this little? Does this mean just like assign it to nothing?
So this means we're just assigning it to nothing. It's just like similar to Go in that sense for people who could listen to here. He's just assigned to nothing. It's because Odin has multi-return values as like similar to Go or like Lua.
Okay, I do want to let you know you just lost all street cred with me and my audience right now. I just opened this up and see some.
Because I said, I know.
Some Windows action going on right here.
Very inappropriate. I know. It's fine by me.
Okay, so you got like the Python style linking.
This is my thing, but I default to Windows because then it's easier to port to Linux rather than the other way around usually. So that's usually what I do. That's my personal view, yeah.
Is that true?
When you do an application development, it's much easier to go from Windows to Linux than Linux to Windows.
Why is that? Just out of my own personal curiosity.
Because when you're a Linux developer, you assume POSIX out everywhere, and you assume many other tools that don't even exist, and many libraries which are not part of the C library but they're part of the Unix. So when you work with Windows, it's made clearly obvious they don't exist.
Okay.
So it's like you just don't touch them.
Okay. Sorry, my wife's handing me My wife cannot currently make a smoothie without making too much, so I have a lot of. Oh, you guys can't even see it. It's green. It's a green smoothie, but you can't see it.
What a lovely wife you've got there. Lovely.
Thank you. I think she's lovely too. All right, so you got some Python-styled lengthening here, right? That's pretty.
Yes, indeed.
Does Go do the same thing?
Go the same, but I got that is from the ideas from Python mainly anyway. But I had many influences from literally dozens of languages.
Okay.
So yeah, you can scroll down. This is just literally the basic syntax. Most people understand this. This is just you got certain types. Here's assignments, how they work.
Oh, can you hold on? Can you help me with this one? What happens here? Because this is unique here. I see a float, but I see an int, so I'm like my brain's confused.
So in Odin, it's trying to explain the constant value system. So to go explain why this even exists, C exists. So in C, all literals are typed. You may not realize this, many people don't, but if you just type them 1, that's got type in. If you do 1.0, it's a double.
Yep.
But in Odin, it's like, no, the value is fine. This is 1, that could be represented as an integer, so we'll be able to use it as an integer. It is just the number 1. Doesn't matter if it's 1.0000, it's still 1.
Quick question, if it's 1.1, what happens here?
Yeah. It would just say, nope, this is an error, you can't do this, you'd have a truncation. So,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's trying to get around many of those issues that you would have in C again, obviously.
Very cool.
It's many of those little things here, but
this line right here, like for those that don't type or that don't use a strictly typed language, this is one of the most incredible things ever. You just assign a float with the number 1. Like this is really, really great. This is just beautiful that it knows the underlying type and it goes, oh, I know what a 1 is. That's a 1.0, right? Like that's beautiful.
Exactly. And there's loads of type inference within Odin as well. Like it's just we even try and minimize the amount of types you have to type, obviously, but it's still all statically typed. So it's just like, okay, just do like, again, Rust does this as well. So it's nothing like a new. It's just, if you've been using C and C++ for years, you're like, wow, this is new.
Yeah. Well, Rust does not allow this right here. Rust would say, no. That's unsafe. Right. There's that one theoretical number that's 16 digits long that you typed in that does not quite translate well.
It will literally, the compiler will figure out, is this representable by this type? And if not, it just won't allow it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so we got this thing right here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's keep on going. New variables.
Keep going.
Oh, is this a tuple? Oh, nice. You got
These are multiple return
values.
values.
Okay, multiple return values. Does that happen from functions as well?
Yes, it does. It's
Rock
completely everywhere. It's much closer to like lower than it is Go in this regard. Much more expansive.
I do like multiple return values. What's the difference between why a multiple return value versus a tuple? Right? Because aren't they in memory the same thing?
No.
Oh.
So, so this gets a little bit bizarre. So, a tuple or a tuple, I have no idea how to pronounce
I call it tuple. You can call it tuple.
I'm going to say tuple because it sounds like Tupperware or something. I don't know. A tuple is like a struct, but it's with a bit of extra sugar and also less sugar at the same time. So it's like trying to go on the keto by having the sugar-free stuff. I don't know. It's a little bit all over the place, but that means it's still a struct in memory. While multiple return values in Odin, at least, their ABIs, they're passed individually or different on the ABIs. There might be multiple registers. They may be one as register, but then the rest pass as pointer. It will do whatever the best, most efficient way of doing it is. So they're not actually one construct in memory. They are actually separate values.
Okay.
So you can get some nice, again, if you have a C++ crowd in there, the copy lesion effects in there as well. So you just minimize wasting the stack.
Okay. One quick question. Did you need to do these extra little scope blocks, or is that just like habitual?
It's just for documentation in your code folding, usually in editors. So you can just
okay. Oh, okay. So you take advantage of code folding. I never fold code.
Yes. Oh, okay. No, as I know some people do. I just like doing. That's why I put the comments next to the blocks as well. When you code fold, you can see what the thing is. Yeah.
Okay. Just I'm pondering it. That seems interesting. All right.
No.
Okay, so you got your traditional for loops, obviously super uncool these days. Like Twitter would hate
They
this.
are super uncool, but we do have, don't worry, we have the fancy for loops as well, don't worry.
Okay. I'd just like to let you know, though. People very angry right now. All right, your standard shorthanding. Okay. Ooh, what's...
straight on full on C.
Okay, so you just replace
just drop
a
the
while
semicolons, because the semicolons, we just say drop them, just make it a while loop,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then you got the forever one. Okay, I like that.
Forever, just show off.
Ooh, you got
ranges.
ranges.
Get the fancier ones. We got ranges both, yes. So this the syntax here, I think I actually borrowed from Rust, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
That particular syntax, like the equal sign, so you can know which one's the range when you're looking at it. Because the ... means so many different things in different languages. If you go from Ruby and you go to Rust, they're the opposites of each other. It's really confusing.
Oh. Yeah, that is confusing. Yeah. Okay, so ... less than is an exclusive range, and this one's an inclusive range.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I can buy that. That's fine. I don't hate it. Right now my initial reaction is just like, what the hell's that thing doing in there? But I could get used to it.
No. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So how does this work right here? So strings are assumed UTF-8 or are they enforced
Correct, yes.
UTF-8?
They are assumed. You cannot enforce because anyone could just put bytes in the random order, obviously.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think Rust always enforces it, doesn't it? I can't remember if Rust enforces.
Yeah, well, we effectively assume everywhere, and we had, unlike C never had a code, literally like a, whatever it called it, what's the coding convention? I can't think of the character encoding. That's the word I was looking for. So it could be anything. So in Odin, no, it's UTF-8. It's the best, worst choice you could get, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so we got your static arrays right here, right?
These are fixed. Static arrays and slices as well. So C doesn't have these, obviously. We got
Which
dynamic
one's a
arrays
slice?
as well. So slice is the one without a value in there.
Why
so
is
it's just
that?
like the.
Or what
that
is
syntax?
Help me
What's
with
a slice?
This one.
A slice is just
It's a
an array
reference
view.
to it, right?
It's a ref. Yes.
Yeah.
So it contains a pointer and a length. That's all it is. Very simple.
Okay, and this one on the other hand contains a pointer and a length and a capacity. Well, it's a static.
No, that would just be a
array.
fixed length.
Yeah,
just a static array. So yeah.
Yeah, and then but this
That's
one
all
on the
it is.
other hand contains a pointer, a capacity, and a length. Correct?
And also an allocator because we support custom allocators at the language level. So yeah.
Okay. So it contains
Yeah.
four
So
things.
you each dynamic array and also like dynamic maps can have a different allocator to them as well. So
Okay, so is that an extra word length for the? Is it like just a
it makes
pointer
it
to
an
an
extra
allocator?
2 actually.
Okay.
Makes an extra 2 because of how the allocator is developed for optimization reasons.
Okay.
So we don't do inheritance.
Okay. Thank you. The inheritance is the one flaw of OOP that I feel like is just it's the pit of doom versus the pit of success. I don't have a problem with classes.
Yeah. It's not even
that.
it's not even inheritance. It's just how people structure inheritance as well. Like internally, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just bad.
Every time I use inheritance, I'm like, this is I do it literally all the time. I once every 3 weeks I try inheritance again and I go, this is the problem to use it. Then afterwards I go, this wasn't the problem. I try it again and I fail every single time and hate it.
The only time to use it is when you're forced to use it. Pretty much.
I know. I keep saying that, but I keep wanting it to not be true. Because my head, it feels so sensible. Oh, an automobile and a Lamborghini, right? So classic. And it feels so right. And every time I hate it. Every time.
Oh yeah.
I fell off
Don't
the wagon.
worry. You see all the other stuff here. It's just squill it through, whatever.
I know.
Squill,
I
that's a
actually
new
do
word.
want to look at that because there's some things I do want to see here.
Yeah.
Because I really like. Sorry, these are the things that are very interesting. Because I'm coming at this with this idea of being a like a C
Complete noob,
replacement. Yeah. How did I get down here again?
Magic. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's get rid
The
of.
wonders of web browsers. I never know how they work.
Yeah, they're like magnets.
Yeah.
That was a very good joke.
Actually, I
by the
know
way.
how magnets work. That's the thing.
Damn it! That was such a good joke, and then you ruined it.
I know. I got to ruin it. I'm sorry.
All right, so this is kind of Go styly. Was this Go inspired?
It's Go stylish, yeah, but with extra much better features. Like that map is heavily optimized. It's actually SOA based internally.
What is
So
SOA?
it's completely cache. A structure of arrays. So instead of arrays of structures, it's structure arrays. So a better way of thinking is that you got say a struct, and if you have an array of each elements individually, what a structure array does is each element is an array of itself. So you have an array of X's, array of Y's, and array of Z's, rather than having an array of X, Y, Z's. If that makes any sense.
Nah, I didn't
It's an
get that.
optimization benefit. Don't worry.
I'd
It's
have
just
to
how
look
the
at it
computers
and like
work.
think about it for a second because that just you just WTF'd me there
Yeah,
for a
don't
second.
worry. It's like explaining these words aren't easy. It's like you have to just show it sometimes in code.
It's like ECS is what someone's saying. So
Yeah,
entity component
in that sense, kind of, yeah.
Okay, then one more quick thing. This defer is just like Go's defer, where at the end of the scope block,
it's scope exit, not function exit.
Yeah.
Because Go's is the way it is because of how the garbage collector and exceptions work. It's insane. With scope exit to be insensible.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, upon the scope, your control flow, it even is named control flow.
Yes.
Upon exiting the
Yes.
scope, delete gets called on these items. One more quick
Correct.
question, because I'm gonna ask my most frustrating
please
question
do.
with Go. If you were to not initialize this map, like if you just define it as a type, and I try to access
Yes.
it, is it a null pointer exception, or is it a hey, this is just
It's
an empty
similar
map?
to Go, so it'll be the zero value, but you can actually just check on it as well. So I did copy the Go thing here, but the reason is most of the Odin language is making the zero value useful, or zero is initialized, and it's taking it kind of just taking it seriously. So
Okay.
you're in that sense, you may not like it, but you can always check to see it exists. There's loads of different ways.
Okay, it hurts me a little bit, but I'll accept that. All right, let's see.
I can understand why people don't like it, but yeah, sure.
Okay, so you
Odin
got a
doesn't
bunch
have
of in
exceptions
loops.
though. That's the problem. It's like C, it doesn't have exceptions.
Okay. Oh, really? What does it
Yeah.
have? Does it have errors as values?
We have errors as values, multi-return values, and loads of decent things. We don't do the stupid if nil thing like Go does.
All right,
We have a better
where's the error
construct.
section? I want to see errors here because that.
Type in or underscore return.
All right, or
So
return
you'll like this
operator.
because you'll understand it as a Rust programmer quite easily. So these
Okay.
just write a basic enum, whatever, fine. And it's showing you all the different random calling stuff. Fine. If you just scroll a little bit further
I'm a
down.
little bit struggling on the syntax. So this one auto puts in effectively
Correct.
error dot none. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Correct, and it's implicit. Yes, this just because it knows what the type is, so it just says, "Oh, okay, we just don't actually type it for you."
Yeah, this can be a comment. Okay, I've seen this one. Yeah. Okay, this is a go.
Yeah.
This is a dig directly at Go. Okay, hold
Yes.
on. Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Okay, so hold on. Oh, wait, you must address this somewhere else. Yes, right here. So
Yes.
y equals this or return. And so how does this? What happens here? What does or return do?
So
Does
it effectively does the exact same logic as the thing above. It does the if statement and then returns it and returns that error value as the last value for you.
Okay. You're forgetting the little error value right here.
Yeah, it does a default thing because they are named at the top, so they'll act as variables that
you
will
got
do
the
it.
naked return going on.
Naked returns, yeah, which allows for the beauty of the or return. They complement each other.
Oh, okay. I don't hate.
Yeah.
I think this is. I was really hoping that Go would do something like this. I actually really think that this is a good.
Yeah,
it
this
is a
would be
good middle
perfect in
ground.
something like Go.
Yeah, it's a good middle ground. It's not quite like I am not a fan of naked returns, but if they gave me this, I could love them. I could.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't a big fan of naked returns until I had this.
Okay.
So it was very much but no, it was like, oh god, now I understand them.
All right. Okay, this is very. This is very. Let's see. Hold on. Using non-bear. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Do you have a example of the if statement with the error? So let's see. Do this one. No.
And it's just explaining. Sometimes you may want to have a different error, and you want to handle it differently. So you want to change what the thing is. So that's just showing you that you have to be a bit more explicit. But again, Odin is trying to be, hey, look, this is what's going on. We're not trying to hide the control flow. This is the thing, yeah.
Okay, and then what is this right here? Explain this.
So this is just deferring an if statement. That's it. And all it does is that gets called after the return.
Oh.
So that means actually, so it's a bit clever in that regard.
Yeah, so that
if
way
you've
you
had
can
an error,
default
you may
out.
actually want to set one of the values. It might be you want to do some cleanup. You may want to set certain return values, whatever. And it's just a way of handling all those such things.
This is super cool. This is actually super duper cool because yes, that's the exact thing where if you have multiple early returns handling error conditions, having this thing where you have to like copy out this logic or find some way to do something to said other variables. This is super cool. This is super cool. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes if you fail on a failure case, you want to actually handle some of the other things to clean up.
Yeah.
And like I know this is you can't like Rust, you can get around it, but even with like Rust's question mark thing, it's like it's just now we just fail, we don't have to clean everything up, and hopefully the drop things get called.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
It's like it's a little bit more like you're programming in a different style.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very, very cool. Is there anything else you think that people would want to see just about the language?
About language, it would just be
because this was a good little kind of.
That's a good little thing, random things, but yeah. Some of the things that people are asking, like the SOA stuff, or even like I say the array programming stuff. So in Odin, we don't have operator overloading because we just added the things you'd actually add operating overloading for, which in C and C++, you're adding it for data types. Well, they already exist in Odin. So that's already solved. And we also would have been for like a math types. So like when you're making a game, you want a vector and you want to do all that sort of stuff and you want to add two arrays together. Well, you can just add two arrays together.
It just goes value by value and just walks through them.
Value by value. Yeah. We even have matrices built into the language for you. So if you're doing like games and everything, it's built in. The arrays also have swizzling things. I don't know. I'm not saying swizzle on that. I'm more of saying if you've ever used GLSL and you've got this like the .xyz and you can put them in different orders and it'll do that correctly. Well, that's built into the language because the computer does it. Why not have a feature to do it if the computer can do it directly?
Okay. Yeah, I don't do GSL. Yeah. I don't do any
no.
or anything.
If anyone's a games developers here, they'll be like, oh, God, I wish I had this in another language. Well, you can now.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. That's actually pretty cool. So one thing I keep saying over here.
Yes, please do.
Which is generics. What do you have for generics?
We do have generics. Just literally Control F and look for the dollar symbol, and then that will give you the parametric polymorphism.
Okay.
There's a little example. That's just how you make a maybe type or an option type, whatever you want to call it. But look, here we go. Some more generic things everywhere. So in this case, it's like we're saying, hey, put the dollar sign on one of the names in it in this parameter on this function, it will go, this means this is a constant parameter named t, and it takes in a type ID, so a type, and you can just pass that around. You can apply that generic things onto structs as well, onto unions, whatever.
Okay, so what is going on here? What is this? What is that symbol?
So that's a pointer. This is pointers. They're pointy in Odin. Rather than a star or an ampersand, it's a pointer. This comes from Pascal.
Oh, Pascal.
And the reason why is because on the left, it's a pointer, and on the right, you're dereferencing it. So in Odin, it's very consistent. The type's on the left, the usage is on the right. It's really easy to read at types in Odin.
Okay, so so hold on, just so I understand this.
Yeah,
that means
absolutely.
You created a new concrete type from T.
Yes.
Then this means it is a reference to T.
We're dereferencing that type.
Okay,
but we're storing
new
it into
creates
this
a pointer.
derived thing.
Okay, so new creates a pointer.
Yeah.
And this thing is the dereference into this drive. I don't know what that means yet, but then you're
Don't
returning
worry,
just the pointer.
That's magic. Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay. Huh. Okay. Sorry, that's actually okay, so this okay, I got this all. Okay, so if you wanted a pointer to something, if you wanted a pointer to something, you'd be pointy on the left-hand side, treating it like that side.
Yes, correct.
And if you wanted to dereference it, you put it on the other side.
Correct, yeah. Same with an array. If you have an array, you put the square brackets on the left-hand side, and then you access it on the right-hand side.
Does that mean you can go like T, do you do T cap, or whatever you call this, pointy, dot, or do you just go T dot? How do you access into a pointer?
You can just you can do both. We have a little bit of implicit dereference there. The compiler goes like, oh, we know you meant to be just dereference it. We'll just do it for you.
Okay, it's called a caret. Everyone's making fun of me because apparently
it is a caret, but with an E as well.
Okay. All right, this is great. This is actually really, really cool. So you actually have some cool examples of things that you guys have built, especially this Ember Gen business thing here, right?
Yes, Ember Gen. So this is what we work on Django FX. All of our products are written in Odin. We've got about 500,000 lines of Odin code at this point at our company.
All right.
So we have Ember Gen, which is this amazing piece of software. Every smoke, fire, and explosion in this trailer is made with Ember Gen.
Okay.
And these are all in games, films, and TV shows.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So all of this, the concrete coming up, everything, is the car is...
Not the concrete, just the fire and explosions and the smoke.
Oh, it's all particle effects.
Yes. So yeah, we do real-time volume simulations. That's what we're doing, in real time.
Okay, so all the smoke, the fire.
Yep, the air bending there, yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. And so when you say real time, do you mean that, what does that mean? Does that mean it's computed upon render in real time? And then...
Yeah. As in you can drag around and you can see the effects in real time. All the competition before of us, we'd have to wait weeks, literally weeks for it to render.
Really? So is this like the Toy Story thing where they, to render Toy Story, it took 9,000 computers multiple years to render?
Well,
you just effectively saved this a huge amount of time?
We have gone from being like, oh, I'm going to have to wait a week for this to render out, compared to, oh, I can't even get a cup of coffee, it's done.
Oh, really? Okay, so before, literally before your product, you're talking 72 hours, 100+ hours of compute time to do this. And what was the unlocking secret? I don't know if you can share that, but what makes yours so good
it's
versus
unlocking the GPU?
And that's what Odinlang
is. Using the power of the GPU itself. So we haven't actually technically Odin has helped us to do the entire application in many cases, but we've unlocked the power of the GPU, understanding how that works and exploiting it because it does certain calculations faster than a CPU does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of thing. So on GPU, we're still using GLSL because you kind of have to, or some of the shade language. But everything else, how it all interacts, is with Odin because we are trying to. We're trying to play C and C++ for ourselves. It's just so much nicer to use as a language. It is, but the thing is also on our team, there's about 9 or 10 Odin developers now, and it's a pleasure compared to what if I was on the same size of team with C++. I'd be pulling out my hair of my beard.
I'm on a team with C++. I don't even, I still, every single time I open up the application, I go, I don't know how that works. I just look at macro code. Looking at these preprocessors making stuff all over the place. And I go, I can't understand anything that's happening in this language. Ooh, speaking of macros, does Odin have any first-class support like Rust for macros? Or
no.
Okay. Is that a design decision or just
that
not
is a design
the time?
decision? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of. How do I put this? I'm not a big fan of Rust macros. I just think they're, to put it bluntly, insane.
Oh, okay.
Macro rules. I have seen some stuff where people have done insane things with them. I'm like, no, please don't. I'm not very smart. I can't read this.
I keep trying to make macros work lately because I've been trying to toy around with this project where I'm trying to get something working. And every time I build one, I go, nah, it's the wrong move. I can feel it right now. It's the wrong move.
Yeah, it's more of like, I'm not that smart, okay? I'm not going to trust future build to be able to do this. Like, present build's not that smart. Future build's dumber. I'm going to bet this. So don't do it. Don't do it.
What do you think about Zig's comp time, though?
Yeah, so I was originally wanting something like that before even comp time existed, because I was discussing with Andy about this. And then I originally went, no, I'm just going to go the more traditional approach.
Okay, because this kind of looks like comp time, right? It almost kind of...
It is almost, but not the full way there. It's not even... It's literally a design decision. It's not a technical one. It is literally, I went, no, I don't want to go that full direction. So we have enough to... You've got enough to do generics. Everything you can do in like templates in C++, you can do in Odin, effectively. Okay. But it's cleaner, nicer. Again, it's not insane.
Are you able to constrain, I forget what they call them in C++ 20, concepts or trait? Are you able to trait out these things?
To a certain extent. So we don't have traits in Odin.
Okay.
But we don't even have methods in Odin. All data is just plain old data. It's very dumb in that regard. It's just you have standalone procedures, nothing else. But one thing I did nick from Rust is I nicked where conditions.
Okay.
So you can constrain them at the end doing it that way.
Okay.
So if you need to do some constraint, or you can constrain like basic ones with little types and such. So there you go, where clauses. There you go.
Oh, interesting. You even have like a programmatic one right here, which is like, this function has to be called where x is greater than 1.
Yes.
And then you can also do this type of.
That's just showing like these are pure sanity checks. But then you can say more explanatory things below it here. Like for instance, I want a cross product, but make sure that the element of the array has to be a numeric type. So do that. Okay, done.
Huh, okay,
so you can restrict it. So because it won't be able to do multiplications on like booleans or strings. So just restrict it.
That's actually super cool because so in a sense this is like putting assertions in your code, but you're putting it at a non-shitty version of assertions.
Yeah.
Because I use a lot of assertions these days. I took the Lex Friedman approach and starting to like increase my
I use
assertion
everywhere.
And they've just been gradually increasing.
So I'd rather crash early and then fix it rather than like, just put an assert. It's cheap.
Yeah.
And you can get rid of them later anyway.
This is super cool. So you have compile time effectively you have the static assertions or whatever they call them in.
Yes.
The Forsaken language. All right. Okay. So real question. What I'm seeing here is I see a pretty viable alternative to C++ in the truest sense, right? Rust, I don't feel like it's not really the successor, right? Rust minus is jokingly C++, but it's not really a successor. It's a different language with different kind of principles, whereas this one feels like a potential successor to C, much like Zig.
Yes.
Do you feel like this one, do you think here in some amount of years you'll see Odin much more popular in the gaming industry?
Yeah, I think it's probably much more appealing to people like in the game industry or visual effects industry or even tooling industry. That's kind of where it's just been tailored. Like, okay, like for instance, in Odin, we have all of the graphics APIs already built into the library. We even have Metal natively, which may not sound impressive to some people. It's like, no, you could only use Metal from Objective-C and Swift. We can call Objective-C calls directly, no problem.
Okay.
So I spent a week doing that. I went, okay, I'll just do it.
All right, then follow up. Can you do? Is Odin really easily like Zig? Right? Isn't that one of the claim to fame with Zig? Is that you can integrate it into an existing project? Is Odin a very simple language to integrate into, say, a larger C++ world, or is it not really meant the same?
It's because it's got effectively you can always export functions, no problem, or import C functions. It's got the foreign import system, no problem. So you can, because it's the CABI. Every language knows the CABI, which is the application binary interface for people who know. But that's very easy to integrate. Zig, on the other hand, and I'll just clarify, Zig's main thing is why it wants you can replace it is because it couples itself with something called Zig CC, which is a Clang front end. So that's what Zig, the compiler toolchain, is its selling point. It's like, we actually have a sane way of installing Clang for you guys, which allows you to just do everything else. While Odin's gone more like, we use LLVM as well, but we're not doing the entire toolchain thing because we're just not doing it. It's a lot more integrated than that anyway. That's why they do it. But yeah, that's the thing is, again, that's the Zig toolchain rather than Zig the language itself. So make it very clear. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, well, this is actually really, really cool. Is there anything else you kind of want to show us? Because I know you gave me a couple links. I'll paste these all because I'll cut this out into a YouTube video. I'll paste out all these things in there so people can go check it out. Because this is awesome. I will say that Odin I had on the lowest tier. I'm glad that I can't believe you watched the stream. First off, I'm like such a script.
I've been watching you for a little while anyway. To be honest with you, I've been watching you since you were interviewed Casey Muratori.
Oh, really? Okay.
I went, okay, I'll check this out. And I've been enjoying your videos ever since.
I am such a script kiddie comparatively to you. You obviously are next level programmer. If I'm a 10xer, you're a 100xer. But I must say that my perception of Odin has vastly changed. I'm excited to try it out to build. I'd like to at least think about trying to build something with it because I love good tooling, right? That's a huge important part is being able to have a language that builds good tools. It's a huge pain in the ass to build good dev tools, to have good experiences. And so anything that shortcuts it. Right now, for me, Rust is the best language to build tools in. I'm sick and tired of building tools in JavaScript because, it's loosey-goosey. It's really fast at first. But then 3 months into building something, it's a horrifying experience. And so, even with TypeScript, it's the same, it's better, but still horrifying. And so Rust has been the best tool so far for me to build stuff in. So I'm actually now more curious. Zig wasn't there for me.
I will praise Rust where it needs praising. Like Rust is, if you need something to be truly safe, Rust is probably your best bet. At the moment.
But this one gives you much greater control, and it looks simpler. Yes. It looks like I could probably get running fairly fast.
I'm a simple man. I find Rust too complicated for me at times. I'm like, I just want something dumb.
Or maybe you need a galaxy brain to,
I don't have a galaxy brain. This is already a big enough head already. But yeah, that's my third joke I've done about my skull.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. You can make fun of your hair all you want. I'll make fun of it too. I know. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. Thank you for this. I think this was wonderful. Fantastic. Dude, love. The language seems appealing. There's some things that they kind of just gave me a weird feel. Like obviously the caret being for pointers, I'd have to just play with it for a little bit. Async await. I didn't see anything in there about that.
No, there isn't any async await in Odin.
Just function callbacks.
Function callbacks, you can do that, but there's we're snowing into that. That is just a long discussion as to why not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually a very big technical discussion. That's not a 5-minute thing. That's a 5-hour thing.
Yeah. What about iterators? Do you have any, just like Rust? Do you have any first-class iterators?
Just function calls. They're dumb.
Okay, but
if you have a function call that returns multiple return values and you put it into a for loop, it'll work.
Oh, okay.
It's really simple. Yeah.
But does it have to produce all the stuff up front like that? Because you say multiple returns. So then kind of the follow-up...
It has multiple returns. So all it has to be is the last value just has to be a Boolean. And it says the Boolean is literally the condition to keep going through the loop.
Oh, so if it returns like X true, then your loop will call it again. It'll go Y true, and then it'll call it again. And then it'll go Z false, and it'll go, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Don't add a new construct when you can just use something else that's simpler.
Okay, one more question. Sorry, I got a couple more language questions. What about threading and all that? Do you have a pretty simple
we have all that.
Threading system here? What do you got here?
Yeah, we've got threading. We've got all the synchronization primitives and such. No problem there. All the synchronization primitives are just like all the mutex, all your basic stuff in there. Yeah. We haven't got all. I need to work on write up the channel stuff again, but I haven't written that yet. Like in Rust has, have the multiple producer channels and single producer channels. I need to add them again because I've just redone the entire threading stuff, so it's the fastest it possibly can be.
Okay. So you got condition variables, mutexes, semaphores. Yeah. Oh, mutexes, semaphore. And then you got so you got pretty much all the things you would need.
Yes, everything you'd need. Because we multi-thread our entire code at Emogen anyway, on Emogen and LiquidGen and GeoGen. So yeah.
Okay. Very cool. I think this was a good tour of the language. It shows. Okay, so look at this. We're looking at this little thing right here. Okay, so this is a dynamic array of pointers of thread objects.
Correct.
Did I nail that?
That's perfect.
Awesome.
You're pro at it already.
Fantastic. Look at that. I'm a genius. Damn. All right. Well, cool. Thank you very much for doing this, Ginger. I take back everything I said about Odinlang. It's super
that's
cool.
Fine. You didn't say anything. So
I said it was dog water tier, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think you just shrugged, to be honest with you. You're like,
Yeah, I don't know it. Okay,
I
it's
was like, okay, don't mind,
undog-water
whatever.
tier. It's
I'm like,
undog-water
it's fine. I'm like, I wasn't offended. Don't worry.
tier. You're a little offended. Let's just a little bit.
No, it was offended. Like, that's the Django FX logo. I was like, what?
We didn't even get the
That was what I was
language.
offended about.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was more like, wait, what?
We dunked on the product and not even the language. Look, we're the dummies
Yeah.
then. We are the dummies then.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I was a little bit confused. I was like, wait, what?
Well, thank you very much, Ginger. Ginger, where can people find you at? Let's see. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got you on the old Twitters.
I'm on the Twitters at the Gingerbill.
Yep, I actually have
also
you
on
right
Twitch.
here. Let me.
I'm on YouTube as well, under Gingerbill on YouTube.
Do you do any streaming on Twitch? You said you're on
I used
Twitch.
to do a lot. In fact, that's how Odin started. I got drunk one night, started streaming. So yeah.
How did you not include this part in the?
Yeah, I didn't
like
want to because I didn't know how PC friendly I was meant to be, or like I don't know if the children watching or anything. I'm trying not to swear either. But yes, I got drunk one last night because I thought, you know what, I can do a better job. So I did.
We got a lot of classic Brits in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, don't worry. We make a lot of Ligma jokes around here, so you can, you know.
No, I meant innuendos, but I wasn't trying. I don't know. I wasn't sure. You never know. It's 10 o'clock for you guys. You never know.
Yeah, it's fairly early. Okay, so yeah, so you got drunk one night and said, "That's it. Damn it, I'm creating my own language."
Pretty much, yeah.
And how many years ago was that?
It'll be 7 years in July.
Did you ever guess that getting wasted caused a 7-year career?
No, this is like, is this real? Like, I'm living my dream job at the moment, like programming in the language I created, doing the most amazing stuff as well, working on this amazing stuff. It's like, if you told me at the time when I did it, be like, no, just go bugger off. Like,
yeah.
It's like, no. But yeah, I was like, it's surreal, is all I can say. It's completely surreal.
Okay, so you hit some sort of Balmer peak. You were programming and you were building this thing. And then obviously at some point...
the Balmer peak is real. I have pure experience from it, so
okay.
yeah.
And then you obviously fell asleep or whatever, and you woke up the next day, maybe a little hungover. At what point did you think, this is actually a real thing? Like, what cued you into taking Odin from a drunk evening of power programming into a real project? Because those are very different experiences.
I got in it just for a month. And then after a month, I went, you know what? This could be viable. I've only spent a month and I can use usable language. This is as good as C at the time. I went, maybe I should work on this as a hobby. And just as a hobby initially it was. So, because at the time, I think I was working at, surprisingly, I was using web server back and stuff. I was working at GoDaddy at the time, I think.
Ooh, GoDaddy. I heard that place is awful.
Yeah.
Don't talk about your former
No, it was actually quite nice as a company,
okay.
but I was on the English side. So,
okay.
It was different size. And it was quite a nice company. Little short... how do I claim to fame? If you ever seen Domain Connect records in your domain names, I'm to blame. Sorry.
Nice. I think
that's my problem.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Primegen.tv I registered at GoDaddy because I couldn't.
Yeah.
There's very few services that can register a .tv name, and I went through a few of them. I was like, fine.
I think it's quite expensive. That's why to register it. That's why many of them don't do it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where I ended up at. So, okay, this is great. I can't believe this. This is fantastic. Well, look at that. Hey, I really do appreciate you coming on here. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Seriously.
I will say that this is a very unusual thing that happens in our modern world, which is I went on in front of however many thousands of people and said, Odin language, dog water. And your response was, let me show you it's not dog water, as opposed to being like, this guy's a dickhead on Twitter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Loved it.
Yeah.
There is one thing this is true. There is one thing I really do like to do with guests. Can you please give me one hot take? One hot take of yours that you feel is fairly spicy.
Hot take?
In respects to programming. So, like, here you go. Here's mine. I'll just toss one out there for you.
Okay, please do.
TDD is trash. And then now I'd go on and explain my positioning why I think TDD is trash. So do you have one in which you're like, okay, here's one that if people hear it, either they're going to love you or hate you for it?
I know, that's the problem. I'm going to have to say it. No, I'm not going to do a joke. I can do joke one. That's the problem. I'm trying to think of a really serious one. Don't think you're clever.
Keep
and I know
going.
it sounds like, I'll explain what I mean. Don't think you're clever. Do something dumb, really right. And if you're thinking, but don't be zealoting as well. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Don't say, oh, everyone should use Rust. Everyone should use Rust. Rust is the best language, whatever. I'm like, shut up. I think you're just an idiot when you say that on the idiot. So they're not you particularly say or anything like that. Just literally people go like, oh, everyone should be using this thing. I'm like, shut up. You look like an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm not hurt. Don't worry.
I'm not Rust per se. I'm just not Rust. It could be any language. I mean, literally any language.
Yeah. Yeah, like.
But I know that's going to be clipped out now. I'm like, yeah. Go there.
Me making a sad face. Actually, that would be a great short. That actually just might become a short. You never know. Hey, Flip, if you're watching this, that's short material right here.
Yeah, just say don't know whatever. You know what I said now. Yeah, no, ripped. No, it's not no though.
That was good. That's pretty good. Okay, I like that. Ask for a hot take, leave a little sad. You know. The thing is that I had to be on the other side of a hot take eventually. You know, it's only bound to happen. All right, I now know what a Florida man feels like. So thank you very much for being on here. I really appreciate it. We should definitely, one of these days, I'll try to build something in Odin if I can find the time, and I'll shoot it over to you, and maybe you can, trash my code and be like, here's the real way you should have done it.
Sure, if you'd like, yeah, I'd be up to it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ginger Bill. Take care. I'm gonna ping your Twitter one more time. Anyone, tweet at him if you have any questions.
Yeah, please do. I'll answer them all night. Don't worry.
Yeah. I forget. You're kind of on the evening schedule now. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.